Guys, welcome. Can I just say we did not plan this, our outfit.
Like of all the things, I so love it.
Chelsea, this was like literally like I came on and I was like, are you kidding me? That's me and Sarah. Um,
Judith
oh
just
yeah.
said sure, Jen, but I thought sure, Jan.
I met Judith at the Max conference. She's one of my faves. She never misses a webinar. I love it.
So sweet.
Um, Oh my gosh. And we're in our black, so we probably just look like all of you beauty school
Yeah.
girls.
Channeling my beauty school days. I love it.
Exactly. Sarah, I'm super excited to have you here.
I feel like it's like a reunion tour,
I
right?
know. Does everyone remember Team Jera? We're gonna take it back a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Chelsea is loving your long hair. Sarah, it's guys, that's what Nutrafol does.
Nutrafol, 100%.
It looks
It's
incredible.
worth it. It's expensive, but it works.
I love it. Please join our chat. Let us know where you're coming from. And then, if you have questions, pop them in there. If you have comments, and yes, you will be getting this later as a recording. I am going to start us out by teasing our October webinar. As you guys know, we do monthly webinars here at BSMG. I think we have the best webinars in the biz in all of higher ed. We just tackle really amazing topics. Next month, we're going to be talking about enrolling parents because so many parents are filling out lead forms these days. So
Love
we're going to
it.
be chatting about that next month. But in October, I'm going to have a special guest from MDT Marketing, and we are going to be live auditing your landing pages and social media posts. So he's going to be doing the landers. I'm going to be bringing up your TikToks, talking about ways to improve it. This is, again, like going to be really great for you to learn on how to make these things better, but also get direct feedback. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat here a link to a Google form. If you want to submit on behalf of your schools, URLs for your landers and your homepage, and then send us your TikToks, send us your Instagrams. We can live audit that for everyone. Our guest today is Sarah Holmes, who happens to be my BFF. We met years ago. We used to work together, and the best thing we got out of that job was each other, right, Sarah?
Yeah, totally. Agreed.
Go
We found
ahead
our
and
way to each other.
Go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you're doing now.
Yeah, hey everybody, Sarah Holmes. I'm currently with Advanced 360 Education. We're a marketing agency. We specialize in doing quality leads and enrollments for beauty schools specifically. I've been here about 3 years, but prior to that, where I met my bestie Jen I was at Bellis Academy for 12 and a half years. I love to talk about how I was at Bellis. I'm super proud of it because I just feel like they're kind of a trailblazer in the beauty space. So I'm
Mhm.
super happy about that. But I'm a beauty school graduate. So this is like back to my roots, Jen. I love talking
I
everything
always
beauty
forget that you became an esthetician. I mean, that's what you were
and
just,
Cosmo School. I've done
yeah.
it both. So I was a
Oh,
great
I forgot about
esthetician, but the feedback was that I gave a great facial, but I talk too much.
that. So why not do hair?
Yeah, right. Then I could talk the whole time.
I think that's awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you today. We are going to be tackling a super important topic because right now we're about to hit busy season, as
Hmm.
you know, right? We're
Hmm.
back to school. All I keep
Yeah.
hearing is how busy people are. At For Beauty Schools Directory, August is our second busiest month of leads.
Mhm.
So January is number one, followed by August. So we're busy right now. But then the holidays are coming and we're going to be slow. And we still have the same hours in a workday.
Mhm.
So I want to chat with Sarah today about the seasonality of admissions, what
Mhm.
to do when you're busy, what to do when you're slow, and like how to
Mhm.
manage your time. Sarah, tell us a little bit about the Bellis setup. There are 4 campuses, but tell us about the different roles that you oversaw there.
Yeah, so there's an amazing call center. I love that Bellis incorporated a call center because it is great to have people on the front lines because speed to lead is real. I know you talk about that a lot, Jen, with your, beauty school directory leads, but speed to lead. So they're getting to leads right away because if you aren't, someone else is. Then they have their reps. Then they have an events division. So people who are doing events in-house, going out into the field doing events. So just they have a really nice layout of how their team is structured. And then, of course, marketing, financial aid, all of that, which is part of the enrollment team.
So a lot of our schools that are on today, I know, are smaller. The majority of beauty schools in America are
Yeah.
usually run by someone who wears multiple hats. So this person is the call center. This person is the person touring. They are the high school
Hmm.
career fair person.
Hmm.
They're kind of doing it all. And so we're going to keep that in mind. We're very mindful of the fact that, yes, Sarah worked for a chain beauty school, but of course, with her job here at Advanced 360, education, she's constantly working with one campus schools. She
Yeah,
gets it. She knows it.
absolutely.
She trains for it too, right, Sarah?
We do. So when you work with us, you do get, if you want some admission training, if you want us to shop your competition, tell us what's going on, but also, like you said, how to make your day more efficient. If you are doing four things and I have some schools that I work with, they're doing admissions, but they're also teaching color classes and they're doing all of that. So how you can really set up your day for success.
All right, so let's jump into day in the life of admissions person before we break down busy time versus slow time. What are some of those tasks as an admissions rep that you're going to have to do, Sarah, no matter if it's busy or slow? These are the things that got to get done.
Work your leads.
So the new leads are coming in, we're working them.
We Like, we can't take it, there's no days off with our leads, right? Like, if you don't work the weekends, if you can find some kind of coverage, if not, you gotta have automation going on there, right, Jen?
Yeah, absolutely. We love nurturing campaigns. If you
Mhm.
can't get to someone right away, make sure you have an auto text going on. If someone is showing up to the campus by driving by and they want to see it, we drop everything,
Ugh,
everything.
so
And to
many times I've worked with schools and I'll just be walking around and I'll hear a walk-in come into the front desk and they're like, "Oh, come back later, you don't have an appointment." Those people took the time out of their day. They are there. Like, they are hot and ready, right? I think like a Little Caesar's pizza, hot and ready to go right off
I
the shelf.
love it.
Like, enroll them.
It's hard enough to get someone to show up, and these people
Right.
just showed up without you even having to do any sort of
Right.
calling, any sort of nurturing. Why we're not treating them like gold is beyond me. I also want to welcome Rhonda to the chat, who was supposed to
Hey,
be somewhere
Rhonda.
else. I'm so glad she was able to make it because she literally makes all of our webinars. So we're excited to see you on here, Rhonda. And tomorrow I'm going on my summer vacation to Europe, and so is Rhonda. Like we're going at the same time, and we're
No
coming
way.
at the same time, both going through Boston. I mean, we're hoping to run into each other. So
You will.
that'll be
In a
that'll
quaint little
be fun.
coffee shop somewhere.
Exactly. Let's chat about the areas that are very time consuming for admissions. What are those things, Sarah, that reps hate doing that just take up time?
I think if you're still kind of back in, I want to say old fashioned, but doing paperwork, like wet signatures, like all the paper, you're printing all the paper, you're having them sign it, then you have to file it and you have to make sure for compliance, it's all, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. That is very time consuming, right? And so I think of someone like myself, like I'm great with people, I build connections, but I'm a great closer. So having me stuck in a box of being this like file folders and stuff like that, is that really a great use of my time? The checks and balances. Listen, it has to be done. I
Yeah.
know I get compliance, but that is very, very consuming.
And it's even just time consuming for the person who is the extrovert and is the salesperson.
Yeah.
Um, let's just sit on that for a minute, because how many times do directors or presidents tell us, like, I had to let her go, her paperwork was always wrong. And we're over here
Mm.
like, if they're a good rep, their paperwork is wrong.
Right, right. Like,
Right.
I'm figuring it out. Like, if I'm the director, I am in there fixing said paperwork, making
Yeah.
sure it's compliant and good to go so that that rep can continue to shine and do what they're really good at.
So then what are your thoughts on that, Sarah, when it comes to dividing tasks? Are there ways that we can make that easier for a rep? Maybe someone else takes that on. Like, and guys, we're talking about enrollment paperwork and all the
Mhm,
agreements and going through
mhm,
the kit list and going through all the things you have to do legally and signing the social media,
mhm,
consent, like all that
mhm,
crap. I mean,
mhm.
admissions is busy.
It is.
So are we thinking it's 2024? What can we do digitally?
Right. I mean, I know a lot of CRMs do a
Yep.
lot of do that, they do portals and they do stuff like
Yep.
that where they can sign, they can DocuSign. Oh yeah, DocuSign is my best friend. Oh, I'm not allowed to pay attention to the chat though because I get distracted.
Sarah gets distracted, but right now, Sarah, you're paying attention, so we're good.
Okay. So admissions is not the end all be all to like approving like the file is good to go. I love a financial aid. Why? Because they love numbers, they
Mhm.
love paperwork, they love doing all that. So if I have this amazing financial aid director or rep, I'm making sure that they're the last touch point on the file before it goes into the filing cabinet or goes for funding or whatever it needs to do.
Yeah, yeah, sounds great. What do reps claim as time consuming, but it really isn't? Because I have
I
thoughts on this
think
one.
I think outreach, like, they had maybe only 3 tours that day and there's 8 hours in the day, so there's 5 hours, and then you're like, "Okay, but you only did 25 contacts."
Yeah,
Well, it's time consuming looking through the CRM, not if you keep your CRM up to date, or if you don't have a CRM, your Google spreadsheet. I work with a lot of schools so they don't have a CRM, so they
yeah.
have a Google spreadsheet. Keep that up to date so you can work through it.
I mean, how difficult is it to send a text? I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
but
I'm
like
quick.
that's what I'm saying. We are.
Right?
I just
Right.
I feel like people who say like I don't have time to follow up with this lead, are you crazy? That is all you have time for. It's
Right.
really not that difficult
Right.
to
Right.
craft something. And of course, things are easier with the CRM. I want to take it to our chat. Kathy said most advisors also don't really like the phones and weeding through folks who are not interested at that time. This is perfect. Some would rather folks just poop, show up so they can speak with them face to face. We
Right.
don't want to work the people who aren't interested, which is why we send that stupid text, that mass text. Everyone's like, are you interested? So we can just like get people off of our radar. And
Right.
that's not the point of admissions.
No, I just talked about this yesterday with someone else. It's so funny. Like in admissions, we are not the drive-through at McDonald's. We're not just like people drive in, they tell us what they want, and then we push them through. We have got to engage them, get them excited. Go back to years ago talking about sometimes we're the only positive thing in these people's lives, telling them they could do it. So we have to work a little harder for it. Gone are the days of people just wanting to enroll. So you've got to get in there. You got to get a little dirty working the leads, having conversations. Maybe they're a little bit more time consuming, but that's going to lead to an enrollment. I think one thing that I remember specifically taking my attention away a lot of times was current students.
Mhm.
Having the like revolving door in admissions of current students coming in and
Because if
chatting.
they're going to complain to someone, it's going to be admissions.
It's going to be because we're always happy. We're like, oh, so happy you're
And you
here.
were
And
their
then,
first relationship, right? Like
right,
that was the first point of contact. So like
right,
if they don't like their teacher, they're gonna go tell admissions. If they
right.
couldn't find a parking spot, they're gonna tell admissions.
Right. And it's like that's all great, but you have to keep that line between advisor and like therapist slash like complaint box
Yeah. Yeah.
because that will take up your whole day.
It will. Yeah, it's really having those boundaries. And this is why, they say it takes a team, like it takes a whole village to enroll.
Mhm,
Like admissions shouldn't have to walk a school and make sure it's tour ready. It should just be tour ready.
mhm,
Like
mhm,
every single day, there needs to be an educator that's like, hey, we know people are going to be coming through, clean up that McDonald's, clean up that. Like that
mhm.
shouldn't be admissions job because they have
Sure,
so many things to do.
sure.
Um, Jennifer put in our chat that she doesn't like when appointments confirm and then, they don't show up and then they reschedule and they still don't show up. Uh, that is something I've been talking a lot about, Sarah, is like
Okay.
the mental health behind admission is that like if your conversion rate's 10%, that means you're going to get 90% no's or not right now.
Mhm,
That's a
mhm,
lot. And like she says, she takes that personally.
mhm,
Like this person I built a relationship with over the phone, I had a report and then they didn't show up and you take it personally and
mhm.
you kind of can't, you gotta have thick skin for this game.
You do, and it's gonna happen. Life happens. Like, think of your personal life, Jen, all the things you have going on. If something came up and maybe it was something you were thinking about in the future, it came up, you're gonna call and reschedule. I always tell the reps that I'm doing training for is look back at the relationship. Did you build rapport with them? Or were you just like, hey, do you want to come in for an appointment? Great, I'll see you tomorrow at 1. Bye. There's
Yeah.
nothing there between us. There's no relationship, so I'm okay just no showing on you.
Yeah, sure. So of course we want really good rapport building up front. We
Yep.
want the text messages that go out and make sure that people are showing up, telling them where to park, all the things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get back to the chat in a few, but we're gonna move on to a different section. Oh, go ahead, Sarah. You look
Just
like
one more thing, confirm same day. That morning when you get in, reconfirm, send a text.
yes, perfect. Okay, again, keep typing in your questions. We're gonna go back to those in just a few minutes. Busy time. What are the busy times for a rep? And this is Beauty Schools Marketing Group. So we're gonna chat beauty schools right now. When are the busy months, busy season, Sarah?
I would say July, August, September. I'm also seeing it shift a little bit into October. Are you seeing that, Jen, as well?
It really depends on start dates. So,
Mhm.
everyone's going to be busy around their start date,
Mhm.
especially right leading up to it,
Yep.
unless it's like a December start date. And I'm
Yep.
finding a lot of schools now are slashing their quarter 4 start dates. They might
Yep.
have an October and they'll slash the November and December.
Oh, I love that. I
Right.
love
But
that
that means
thinking.
you got to beef up the other ones, right?
Sure.
Like really,
Sure.
really
Got
heavy.
to come from
Um,
somewhere.
Absolutely. It depends. You even remember this at Bella's, like California, it's summer all the time. So I feel like enrollment was always going, right? Because it's
Yep.
always beautiful out. And then
Yep.
we had that one campus in Manhattan, Kansas, where the
Oh,
running joke was it's cold and no one's coming to a tour.
right. They don't leave their house, right?
Exactly. So it really does depend, I think, sort of like on the seasons where you're at. But October it makes sense to me, Sarah, because
Mhm.
you have people that did not choose to go to high school or did not choose to go to college right out of high school. Their friends are
Yep.
there, their friends are
Yep.
thriving,
Yep.
and they want to do something. So I think, that's the great thing about our biz. You should be busy all the time. But for sure around start times, that's when we're super busy. That's when we are like getting in all that paperwork that you talked
Mhm.
about, to prepare for that. How do high school events affect this when it
In
comes to that busy time? So, we're busy right now, but we're doing high school visits. Are you tabling that for a slow time? Are you just making sure you're only doing one a week? How are you, Sarah? Let's say you're a 1 or 2 campus school and the admissions
Mhm.
person is in charge of doing that high school outreach. How
Mhm.
are you balancing? I'm super busy at the school, but I still need to go to the high school.
I think I'm looking at the data, Jen. Am I enrolling a ton of high school seniors, like 2024, 2025 seniors? If I am, then I'm focusing my time and energy on those events,
Yes.
going to the lunch area and having a table. But I'm not going to make that decision if I only get a few here or there, because when I step outside of my office, everything else kind of falls, especially if I don't have someone to manage it. So people need to know their data. They need to really look at it and see where is their time best spent.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Because I travel a lot for my job, I'm on the road, and I know when I'm on the road, things here,
they slip through the cracks.
they do. So, but
Yeah.
it makes sense if you're rolling 50% high school seniors and high school newly grads.
Well, we did a webinar a couple months back that talked about, I said it at the beginning of the year, the beginning, even mid last year, was the schools that are going to win this year are schools that have a strong high school outreach strategy
Mhm.
because that's the shift right now toward
Mhm.
vocational education. It's not like it was even when we worked at Bellis. I mean, you're really seeing more and more high school students requesting information. Guys, even from BSD, we're seeing like 20%, 22% of our leads that are coming in, they don't have a high school diploma yet. They don't even graduate till
Mhm.
2025, 2026. These are juniors that are requesting information to go to beauty school. Like it
Yeah.
really is a shift in time, and we should have a strong strategy. And you're going to need those enrollments. Don't you always say that, Sarah? You're going to need those enrollments then.
I was gonna say, like, I'm all about like working in the future. But to your point, Jen, I think the stigma around trade schools might be diminishing a bit
Yeah.
because we're seeing it too. We're seeing right out of high school parents being more accepting to them doing this because why? They can go and get a job. We can't guarantee it. They can go and get a job right out of school.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So, as far as boundaries go, I would say just making sure you're still able to handle your workload
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not putting yourself on a high school list every day of
Yeah.
you cannot be out of the office for a week like that.
Jen, didn't we consult with a school who told us they spent like 3 months on the
I
road?
mean, that's obviously where my mind went.
Oh,
It's
okay.
where
We're
we
on the
got
same.
signed
We're wearing
now.
the same shirt and we're on the same page.
Yes, that's obviously where my mind, well, yeah, she was like, oh, I'm doing my high school tour. I was like, oh, so who's doing your admissions here?
Right. So
No
if she
one.
had already built up her current enrollment and was at goal for the month she was traveling, she'd be fine, but to build the future, but she wasn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, really, really good. Again, we're gonna get to your questions, so keep on typing them in. Sarah, what is the best way that staff in a school can support admissions during a busy season?
You hit it right on the head earlier, not having to ask for a clean classroom, not having to ask for engaged students, engaged teachers, having the front desk, all of those things should be just done automatically. We shouldn't have to ask. We shouldn't have to remind them that, hey, Jen, I have 5 tours today, so I'm going to be touring your classroom. I'm going to have 5 tours checking in today. Just already doing that, I think, is really, really helpful. I go back and forth with I'm a little bit of a control freak. I want to tour all my own leads who come in, but if you have somebody who's amazing at tours, maybe they could step in for you, right?
Sure. I mean, listen, if you have a lot of tours, it completely makes sense to do that. Of course, rapport building with you is going to be what's most important, but having
Mhm.
even a stellar student walk someone around might even be more powerful than you walking them
Yes,
around.
yes.
So
Because why? Because of course I'm going to say this is the best school in the nation. Of course I'm going to say all the
sure.
amazing things, but when it's a student talking about it, a student ambassador, that's going to resonate because they can see themselves in their shoes.
Yeah, and like let's ruffle some feathers really quick because I feel like we've been really nice. So
Oh, okay, juicy. I'm here for it.
let's ruffle feathers. So back in the day, Sarah and I used to talk about, so I was marketing director, she was admissions director, and our secret to success, which we increased enrollment by 38% our first year together. Our secret to success was marrying marketing and admissions. Today, financial aid and admissions need to get married. And you want to talk about how you can support your admissions? We need FA and admissions to be like this.
Mhm.
We honestly need to be helping each other.
They do.
What are your thoughts on that, Sarah?
I I think it is so important. I mean, however the financial aid information is laid out, even if it's tone or how it's done can make or break an enrollment. Tone is really big into it. I always use the example like, "Oh, you didn't qualify for any grants, Jen, so sorry." Or, "Well, we didn't get grants, but good news is we qualified for loans."
Yeah.
Very different approaches. I think that admissions and FA should be BFFs. Like
Mhm.
and nurture that relationship. If you're a director or an owner, take them to lunch together, take
I
them
agree.
to dinner. Why? That's what was so good about us at Bellis is that the director and the owner nurtured our relationship. So we wanted to work harder for each other because you wanted me to be successful. I wanted you. Same with admissions and financial aid. It
That, I
can
mean, that's your enrollment. And oh my gosh, Sarah, how many people are filling out ICERs? They're FAFSA and the ICER comes back and they're not even in the system. If
Mhm.
FA isn't telling admissions,
Right. That's another like hot and ready.
yeah, that's serve them up on a platter. I'm
Yes.
with you. This is what we mean by like best friends. Like y'all have to be in sync with each other. And I am this year only, like for the first time, I'm seeing a giant shift toward admissions, hand holding people through the FAFSA process. And I love
Mhm.
it. I gotta say, I love it.
Mhm.
Y'all know there's been a nightmare going on with
Oh,
financial aid, and if admissions can take any of that load and help someone through FAFSA, and then once the ICER comes in, it goes to FA. I
mhm.
really think that is going to be, and I mean, this isn't just me saying at the top of my head. I've tested this out with a couple schools
Sure,
and
sure.
tremendous overnight success from this. Conversion rates are going up. And I'm really, Sarah, we go to conferences all the time. We're on the conference circuit. We're talking to schools. That is the shift that I'm seeing.
I agree. It needs to happen. It needs to because I'm not going to tell you that I'm uncomfortable doing a FAFSA, Jen. If you send me home to do it, I'm gonna be like, yeah, no problem, I'll do it. And then I
Yeah.
just won't, and I'll ghost you because I don't want to tell you that I wasn't comfortable doing it. And then you never hear from me again, and you expect that I chose another school or something else. It's the schools that are taking the time to walk them through during the appointment. Let them know, like, hey, we're going to tour today, and we'd love to help you do your FAFSA.
Yeah,
Complete it.
I don't like the old school rhetoric of like, great news. We have an FA director that's going to sit down with you. In the meantime, let's talk about the program. Y'all, people are coming in today in 2024 completely pre-sold on your school. They've already looked on your website. They know everything
Mm,
about the program. They've already been on TikTok. They know this is what they want. They
yep,
have one concern, and that's how can I pay for it?
right.
And your script
Yeah.
is actually, we can't talk
Yep.
about that, but I'm going to
Yep.
introduce you to someone who
Yep.
can. Stop it. If your tour is an
Beautiful.
80% talking about financial aid, you're doing it wrong today in
Right. Right.
2024. I mean,
Like
as uncomfortable as that sounds, you got to switch it up.
the two questions are, can I make this work with my schedule, my family, my everything, and how am I going to afford to pay for it? And
That's
can.
it.
That's it. So you don't need to talk about state board, shampoo sets, and pin curls and stuff
Right.
like that.
Let's go through the curriculum in detail. Great.
Line by line. 14 hours on this. No, I
Yeah.
mean, and I mean this respectfully, but you guys, that's boring. That doesn't excite me. Like what excites me is you telling me that I can make this happen
Yeah,
financially. That excites
absolutely.
me.
Which, by the way, like if we can just steal something from a sleazy car salesman, like if you go to the car lot, 80% of your time at the car lot is talking about the
Right.
finances.
Right.
And for some reason, we don't do that in admissions. And I don't get it. I will never get it. I don't know why we're so let's talk about all the things you can do with your career. Y'all, they already know. They want to open up their own salon. Like, come on. Like, why are we doing this? Like,
Right.
let's not do this song and dance. Let's talk about
Right.
how they're going to
Right.
pay for it. That's all
Right.
they care about.
And also, what do car salesmen do? They get you in the car, they have you test drive it, they have you sit in it. Oh, look at this, look at this. That's what our tour is.
Yes.
This is your lunchroom. This is your educator. That's seeing themselves here. You're painting that picture for them.
Yeah.
I want to go
This
back
has
to one thing
nothing to do
about,
with this has nothing to do with seasonality, but I mean, I'm loving this conversation.
yeah, really quickly back to admissions and FA. If you take one thing away from this webinar, go buy your financial aid rep a nice coffee. Like just
I
go buy
love
him
it.
a nice coffee. And we're not gonna get anywhere like this. Like we're just gonna work. So
Agree.
can't beat them,
And
join them.
and and if you're an FA person on here, do one thing and go walk your admissions person through the FAFSA. Like
Mm.
take them through the application. Someone actually wrote that. I don't want to mispronounce your name. May Matey, mate. I don't even know how to say your name. Maybe you can put in the chat exactly how I say your name. So I can get that right. But she said our FA team showed me how to do a FAFSA and it's been so helpful. I go by May. Great. Thank you. That's what May says. And oh my gosh, that to me would be life-changing for admissions. I don't know why they're so intimidated by it, but we've got to get these things married. Okay.
One more thing, Jen. Oh,
Yep.
before I forget.
Old school. Y'all, I told Sarah, I was like, before we hopped on, I was like, Sarah, your classic line is really quick before I forget. Really quick. And she's like, I don't do that anymore.
Here, turns out. If your financial aid team hasn't walked you through the new FAFSA, the new questions like EFCs no more, ask them to do that because it has changed up quite a bit. That's
Yeah.
it.
Great. Um, I have a question. How can reps be allowed? Should reps be allowed to take vacation during those busy times? Because I'm pretty
Ugh.
sure you planned your baby around start dates.
So I did. I purposely got pregnant and delivered my baby the end. She's 10 now. Delivered her the end of October. Like I was very intentional. And I take my job seriously. I was in a place where I was lucky enough to family plan and do everything. But yeah, I mean, I did because why? Because I didn't want to miss a beat.
Yeah.
So like I just did that. And let me say, being pregnant in admissions, I had some of the best conversion
Gold,
rates, right?
gold. I was a waitress at Cracker Barrel and I always hated the pregnant girls because they would get like the biggest tips. I was like, dang it.
I,
So lucky. People love a preg. They just love
yeah.
them.
Yeah, unpopular opinion, but I think if this is your career and you are really dialed in, you're going to plan your vacations around the busy times. They're not that often. It's not like it's a seven
I
month
agree.
where you can't do anything, but I think be mindful of that. And not only will that help your enrollments, but that'll show your owner how dedicated you are.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sarah. I think there's just some times where you're going to have to be at the school. Someone actually asked in the chat about Saturdays. What are your thoughts on that?
Hmm. I think you got to do Saturdays or you got to do evenings. You
Once a week? I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, Saturdays like once a month, like this is my one Saturday I can do, or
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to have a couple admissions rep, then alternate. But yeah, at least one a month to accommodate. Absolutely. Because if your admissions is 9 to 5, how are you going to get the people who work 9 to 5? That kind of a thing. So if you're a school that does day and evening classes, you better have availability for admissions during that evening schedule.
I will say though, I've seen a shift with schools going Monday to Friday, which I prefer. I think that's
Mhm.
exactly what people want. They don't want Tuesday through
Sure.
Saturday. I could go off on a tangent about that. But if you're a Monday through Friday school, I think having a rep work on a Saturday just to be able to manage the phones and set
Mhm.
appointments for that next week. I think
Love it.
that's great if you can do that. But also look at your lead flow. Like don't schedule for something that's not even happening. Or how
Right.
many leads are you getting on the weekend? Like, does it,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense to where we're getting lots on Saturday and Sunday? So you work 4 hours on Saturday, 4 hours on Sunday, and then take off on Monday, once a month or something like that. You definitely gotta, I think,
Yeah. Don't just do what you've done because you've always done it. Like you said, look at the data. Look at what that your CRM is telling you.
all right, let's chat about the slow time.
Okay.
All right, what are the slow times for reps?
I mean, November, December.
Yeah,
Yeah.
March,
So,
April.
yeah, absolutely.
Those are probably
Like you're kind
the,
of in between. You're off the January high. You're not quite yet to the summer high. So, yeah, absolutely.
and I keep seeing your questions and I'm dying to answer them. I promise I'm going to get to them. I'm just trying to keep us on task with these questions, but then we're going to pop on over and you can ask us anything. You can ask us where we got our shirts. I mean, anything you want. Okay, so let's chat. First of all, Sarah, if your school turned off marketing today and you didn't get another dang lead for the next 2 weeks, does admissions pack up and go home?
No, they are working the oldie goldies.
Oldie goldies. Let's chat about that. So, because obviously there's a time where we are rocking and rolling, we are flowing with leads. Great, I can fill a day, but whoop, all of a sudden we get a little slower. And that's when admissions likes to be like, well, I'm not getting any quality leads. No one's coming in the system. What do you
Right.
tell them, Sarah?
I say go back into your old leads. So many times when I'm working with schools right now, I see that they're really great at working the lead for a week or two, and then it just like drops off. Hopefully they have automation to pick up, but they're like, "Well, they weren't serious and I want serious people here." No, you weren't speaking to them in the language that they understood.
Yeah,
So go back, and I'm not talking Jen go back a month, 3 months. I'm saying go back. When I was enrolling, I would enroll people that I met 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 3
yeah.
years ago. Like, it's wild because life happens.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. If we're looking at the funnel of
Mhm,
a lead, up top are the people that are requesting information. Lower are people who've either done their FAFSA or they've toured
mhm,
with you.
mhm,
Um, you can go and work some of those people that requested information 3 years ago. But I think what Sarah is saying is what I would say. Work your bottom funnel leads. 50% of the people who show up for a tour should become students. That's the number you're shooting for, is half. Half of your shown tours should become students. So
yep,
if you have 20 tours, 10 of those should become students.
mhm.
What I would do if I were a rep is I would not waste my time calling leads that don't engage with me and trying to pick out conversations out of thin air. I would work my past tours.
That never enrolled.
That's it. That's where the
Yep,
gold is. That the
yep,
gold is at the
yep,
bottom. Quit wasting your time up here. Up here, it's for marketing. Send out a nurturing campaign. There's this new scholarship.
mhm,
We just added this to the program.
yep.
Great. If you get a bite, you get a bite. But what admissions should be doing during slow times is they should be going back into their calendars. They should be going back into their tasks and their CRM. Who did I meet with that never enrolled?
Mhm.
Focus there. That's
Because
where,
their financial situation could have changed. A lot of
sure,
things could have changed,
sure.
right? And if you don't know your numbers, Jen, you brought up a really good point. 50% of people who come should enroll. If you don't know what your number is, find out because you can build from there. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know your goals, you don't know how to get there.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, we're not always math people in the sales department, but it really is simple math. I've become a math person. I've become a lover of reports because I'm just like, reports to me tell me where the focus should be. And if, if you are only getting 25% shown tours and not 50 to 60%, you have a problem with rapport building from the jump. Focus on that. Get training for that.
Right.
So anytime you're looking to hire a good trainer will say, give me your reports because I'll be able to,
Yes.
that's where your problem is,
I
right?
was gonna
Sarah,
say, remember we used to do that. Right.
all the time. I'm like,
We would
I don't need to secret shop your
no,
school. Give me your reports and I'll tell you
send
what's
us
wrong.
XYZ
That's
and we'll
it.
tell you what's wrong. And then we'd go to the school, do our consulting, and be like, oh, we were right.
Yeah, it's literally it's math. It's really that simple. And schools can have really great contact rates, really great show rates. And if they aren't enrolling their shown tours at 50%, you have a closing problem and you have a
Mm,
follow-up problem.
yeah.
Keep the questions coming. We're going to get to them here in a few minutes. Okay, it's really, really slow. What type of events can reps do or plan around because it's slow season?
Do in-house events. They don't have to be fancy. A lot of times, like when I'm working with schools, they'll say, well, I don't have a big budget. That's okay. You don't have to have a huge budget. Have them come in. I love like a look and learn. I love doing like a free polish change. I love having them come in for a hairstyle, meet with the students, get the feel of the area, right?
Yes, I love it. And we talk about doing open enrollment events. Have a signing day. Have a signing day for high school students
Yep,
to come in and get a
yep,
photographer and
yep.
make that a big deal. Like think about different events you can do in that way. And honestly, that's the time you can fill up your high school visits and you can have a high school counselor event. Like you should be using your slow time. Sarah, what about training? I mean, to me, if you're going to train your staff, your admissions team and your
Right,
financial team,
right.
slow time. Don't do it
Yes.
in January.
No.
People did that to us too, by the way, when we did trainings together. They're like, oh, can you come in January? We're like, what? This is the
No.
busiest time. Are you bananas? Like, do
Right.
your training in November.
Right, right. You know, it's true. Do that in November, do that in December,
Yeah.
early December, because or go back, do education, like go through your SIS, go through your CRM, get retrained on it. What are you missing? What have they done to kind of integrate and implement amazing things that we weren't a part of?
I love what you just said. Okay, so first of all, if you're looking to switch CRMs, you don't do it in January. You do it in October and then it'll be live in December, right?
Yeah.
Like that's you really got to like start planning if you're
Yep.
going to do a CRM switch. And like
Yep.
Sarah just said, CRMs are constantly changing. They're adding
Mhm,
new features and then
mhm.
you haven't learned any of them.
No.
How many of you guys have a CRM that you're literally using 30% of it? Like you're like, for example, you're using all the outreach nurturing, but you're not using the enrollment paperwork. Like,
Right.
why aren't you using the portal to send
Right.
like a login so
Right.
they can do all their
Right.
paperwork? Like
Right.
that's what you do during slow season is you get to know a CRM.
You also look at everything your reps are doing. So I have a couple clients that they work out of several different things. They work out of Google Docs, they work out of a CRM, they work out of a different texting plan platform because their CRM didn't offer texting, which is wild to me. So dive into a day in the life of admissions person if you're a director and see are they duplicating work in several different softwares? And
Yeah.
this is where you can really put a game plan to centralize that.
Yes. I mean, if you're using constant contact for your emails, if you're using your phone for a
Mhm.
text, if you're using something, I mean,
Right.
you can just centralize this all
Mm.
on one platform.
Yep.
So, very good. Also marketing, Sarah, brochures, collateral. Like if you need a
Yes.
redesign, if you need a new brochure, like if you need new stuff,
That's the time to do it.
slow time is
Yes.
it's the perfect
Yes.
time to come up with those campaigns.
What you were so good about, Jen, was you would come into admissions and you would sit down and you would say, show me the collateral you're using, even though you already knew. But
Yeah.
what could we add to this?
Yes.
What could we make it better? What are people asking for?
And I knew that from admission. So we knew that daycare was a huge hurdle to enrollment. So
Right.
great. Let me come up with a one-sheeter with all the daycares within 5 miles of the school. Done.
Totally.
We knew in one of our campuses, there were a lot of lower income people
Mhm.
that needed state funding help. So boom, we had a one-sheeter on that with all the different state benefits, subsidized apartments, all the things you can get, right? Like we knew that everyone asked for scholarships. So
Yeah.
instead of just being like, oh, go to beautychangeslives.org, we'd be like, here's one sheet, a beauty schools directory has it. Like once again, you need to have really great collateral. We always say it's the best admissions assistant.
I love it.
Very good. Sarah, what's a good goal for a school? Let's say their start goal is between 15 and 20. How many tours do they need a week? What are we looking for?
So you're saying their enrollment goal is like 20?
Yeah, I would feel for most schools, their enrollment goal for like a one smaller campus school, usually an enrollment goal is around 20.
Yeah.
So do the math.
Well, right. And you said I'm terrible at math. You need to have then,
You
maybe
need at
100
least you need
leads.
at least 40 tours a month if you're going to reach
Right. You
at
need
least.
100 leads, maybe 60 tours, right?
Yeah, that's the thing is you need to break everything down
Mhm.
by numbers. So let me go back up to the chat because I'm going to scroll up because there were so many great questions and I think some of these questions are in there. So go ahead and start typing them in. Okay. Someone was asking about the admissions and NFA. So are you saying it's legal for admissions rep to assist a prospect with FAFSA? That's exactly what I'm saying. I have talked to every auditor and every lawyer out there. I have chatted with NACAS commissioners. This is something Sarah and we had talks about this last year because I'm like, I'm so sick of the misinformation out there about this. Admissions is not allowed to disperse funds.
Mhm.
You cannot do that. I'm not talking about you coming up with a financial plan with them. I'm literally saying help them with the application and that's it.
But the asterisk by that is your Jen, not typing Sarah Holmes 76. No. So be mindful of that. Jen is not saying that you're going to sit there and you're going to do the FAFSA while they look over your shoulder.
Correct.
The
You're
opposite of
assisting them.
that.
They have a question with the
Right.
FAFSA. What do I need for here? And
Right.
what does my mom need to get
What does
together?
this question mean?
Exactly. You
Yep.
need to know the application. I am not saying that once that ICER comes in, that you're sitting down with them and you're telling them what they're being awarded and you're having them sign papers. I know that some schools, it varies with exactly how they want to do that. So that's fine. I'm not going to get into that. I will say there is nothing wrong with an admissions rep helping with FAFSA, period.
I think a lot of times admissions is so scared they hear FAFSA and they're like, ah, and they run and hide
That's
because
exactly what happens.
right
That's
there.
exactly what happens. So that's something that we need to beef up on. And I think we've spent so much time beefing up on our education. Like we're like, oh, let's have admissions sit down with the director of education and talk about what we're selling. And yeah, I mean, that's all good and well. You absolutely should be doing that.
Sure.
But guys, these people know this is where they want to go. I don't even know what else to say. Like people know this is where they want to go. How important is it? Oh, we already did the Saturday question. Can you give input on how to gain more students for schools that don't accept FAFSA? Yeah, be less money than them. That's how you do it. So we work with lots of schools that are not Title IV schools. There's lots of newer schools that are popping up everywhere. You have a leg up on your competition. Your competitors charge $20,000 for Cosmos, so charge 10. Like that's generally what we see is we see it being a lower cost offer.
Faster.
Yes.
Offer it cheaper and faster.
And in-house financing, you're going to have.
Yep.
So I think those are just things you say, like, we offer in-house financing, we can do a scholarship, do all the things you can do, but there's also scholarships out there. You can go on Beauty School's directory, you can direct them to Beauty Changes Lives. But not having FAFSA to me is not a deal breaker. So I know a lot of schools that thrive on that. We are Tuesday through Saturday. Is there a benefit Monday to Friday? Yeah, the benefit is no one wants to go to school on Saturday.
No.
That's the benefit is that it's a family day. Like moms want to watch their kids play soccer. I have seen so many schools shift to Monday to Friday. And I think the old school mentality was they work on a Saturday in the beauty, in the beauty industry. So we want to like get them ready for this. That's old school. You
But
can
they
work.
don't anymore.
They
Right?
don't. And that's what I'm
My
saying. They
hair
don't.
girl, lash girl, esthetician, none of them work on the weekends.
Oh, same with mine. None of them. That has shifted. And so what schools do, Anthony, is they stay open on Saturday once, twice a month just for makeup hours. So if someone misses, they can make that up on a Saturday. And that gives the salon a little boost on a Saturday. You will miss out on your salon income on those Saturdays. But I'd rather a $20,000 enrollment all day long. And I think you would
But
too.
also you could do makeup hours on Saturdays.
That's what I just said, Sarah. Obviously,
Oh,
you're.
I was looking at the chat.
I know you are.
I'm done, I promise.
Love you. Someone said their slow times are March and April. Yes,
Mhm.
love it.
Yep. So you could gear up for your high school
Yeah.
graduates that are going to be graduating in June.
And then someone, Priyanka said that I would say the summer, June and July has been the slowest for us as far as receiving new leads, but we've had great enrollment numbers. So,
Nice.
the people that come in,
They're quality
probably more
and you're
serious.
doing good.
Yeah, they're quality, exactly. Kathy mentioned really, during those slow times, we are focusing. I love this. She said unconverted leads, which we talked about, but referrals. What if you can walk those halls and start talking to the students and seeing, what friends would be good here? Have a friends and family event. Like those are the things we need to be doing. We love a referral, right, Sarah?
Jen, do you ask about a referral when they tour the first time?
Never.
I know this is a hot topic button for
This
you.
is hot. This is a hot button topic for us. It's embarrassing. Hi, do you have any friends that you think would want to go here? I'd love to give them a call. Like, I just met you.
Right,
No,
right,
ma'am.
right.
It's
Yeah.
embarrassing. I want to do it. I want to do it. What are your opinions on resource allocation during slow times? Ooh, that's a really great question. So are we spending more, during the slow times versus the busy times? First of all, you are spending more during busy times because
Mhm.
there's a lot of competition out there. That's when
Yep.
everyone revs up their budget. So
Yep.
there's a lot, you always put money when there's a lot of searches, right,
Yep.
Sarah? I mean, that
Yep.
to me is like marketing gold. Everyone's Googling beauty school program, end of December, beginning of January, you better be bidding on those keywords. So you
Right.
definitely want to rev that up.
Right.
What I would be looking at for the slower times is maybe you bring back your budget a bit, but that's when you take that money and you invest it in admissions training.
Right.
You take that money and you invest it in brochures and
Mhm.
that sort of thing.
Also, what's your time to enroll? You need to know your time to enroll. You can look at that and then know, okay, we have, 60 starts were expected this date. What is our time to enroll? We better make sure we are beefing it up and spending extra money to hit that.
Sarah, can you explain what time to enroll is for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple different ways to look at it. I always looked at it as the time to enroll is the time a lead comes in. So they fill out a form into the time they actually enroll in school, right?
Yes.
So
Which is
that
longer than you think. Everyone's like, oh, it's 20 days. It's like 60. So
right, right. On
it's
a good day.
yeah,
And a lot
it's
of
longer
times
than you
if the
think.
time to enroll is 3 days, you'll notice a correlation between that and then no starts. Did
Oh,
you rush them through the process?
yeah, yeah, really, really good point there. By the way, May, this is not at all a silly question. Love that, or maybe you're a different person, Mara. This might be silly, but what are some key points you hit when giving a tour? Let's chat about that because a tour consists of an interview, right? Like it's the one-on-one time, and then literally touring them
Mhm.
around the school. So
Yep.
Sarah, go ahead and make it quick and snappy, but give us your high points that you want to always talk
Yeah.
about.
So if you offer different programs, ask them if they want to see the whole school or just the program that they are interested in. Because if you are taking them through all these programs that they have no interest in, they're going to get bored. Okay. So you're doing that. You're pointing out where they're going to eat lunch, where they're going to park, where their lockers are, where they're going to put their stuff. That all seems like, but they want to know that these are important things. Show them their classrooms, introduce them to educators if you can, and always speak that this is their school. Start putting that in their head. A lot of people don't spend enough time on the retail area. Like, pick up that product, hand it to them. If you have good smelling things, have them smell that, immerse them in the full experience.
Love it. And then of course, when you're with them, kind of maybe don't talk about your school, just talk about them.
Yep. Yep.
That's it. Just get them talking,
Yep.
right? You need to
Like, have you ever, this is a flat iron, do you use one or do you use this brand or talk things like that? Have you ever had this type of facial?
yeah,
That kind of stuff.
yeah. You need them to talk. They should be talking the majority of the time. What do you do if you're getting a ton of leads for a program that is full? That's a great question. I mean, first of all, make sure, to have a good talk with your owner.
Hmm.
Is there any chances of expanding, either that or like renting other space and making sure people know, or do you have a really slow program? Like, is it time to cut the nail program? It's
Hmm.
probably time to cut the massage program. That's a story for another time.
Ooh,
Could you
she
use
went
that
there.
space for extra enrollments? Maybe there's that, but also we love a full program because who doesn't want to be on a Birkin wait list?
Right. I was just gonna say, like, that is so exclusive. Like, put me down.
Exactly.
So many people want to come here. There's a wait list. Like, I'm waiting.
Yeah, and if anything, like get them to do the enrollment paperwork, right? Like take that application fee. Like let's get you on this list because they do fill up so quick. I think exclusive is in right now. That's what people want. I mean,
Yeah. We
I
don't
just I
have to
don't see it.
work. Yeah, we don't, Jen, we don't have to work class start to class start. The running
No.
joke is always like every 4 weeks is Groundhog's Day. We don't have to work like that. If we're beefing up and we have wait lists and we're beefing up, then we don't have to be thinking so urgently. Because a lot of times when we're desperate for enrollments for a class start that starts in 2 weeks, we're going to come off desperate,
Mhm.
right? Get
Agreed.
them on that
Agreed.
wait list.
Advice on getting application fees and ensuring they input application. Thoughts on application fees, Sarah?
There's a lot of ways to look at this. Like you get their skin in the game, like they have to put something up. But some people, if you have a 75, $100, $120 app fee, they maybe cannot afford it.
I
So
like a
do you?
$25 app fee if you're gonna do one. I wouldn't do it much more than that.
No. And I was recently with a school that had a $250 app fee. That's a lot of money to ask for somebody. So because they're not paying it, they're like, well, they're not invested. They are. They just financially cannot make this work because they're living paycheck to paycheck. So
Yep.
sure, a little app fee, a little skin in the game.
Love it. Cameron says, how would you go about generating more organic leads? I have a couple thoughts on this. I'll put it over to you first, Sarah.
I think that is building your brand. You need to have great reviews online. You need to have social media presence because where are all these people living? TikTok, Instagram. Their parents are living on Facebook, making sure that's happening. But there's so much movement the past couple years from people like I'm in San Diego, people moving out, people moving in. Then you kind of get lost in the sauce, like you don't have this. So make sure you're going out in the community. If you're a small community, make yourself known.
Yeah, I like it. One of the things I will tell you is the best lead out there next to referral is a website lead.
Mhm.
Your best lead.
They sought
If
you out.
they sought you out, they came to your website, you have every single sort of tab at the top that they can get distracted with, and they still chose to fill out a form. That is your best lead out there. And I don't know why schools are sleeping on this.
The
So if I'm a school today, I'm investing in increasing
brand.
our organic traffic, and you do that two ways. One, through a strong SEO strategy, which
Yep.
does not happen overnight.
Mhm.
So PPC is a band-aid, that's a Google ad, that's a
Yep.
band-aid getting more leads. SEO is a long-term strategy to getting more leads. So I would be investing in SEO so that it pays off next year. But the other thing I would do is I would optimize my website to get more form fills. So
Mhm.
most beauty schools right now convert at 3%, meaning for every 100 people who visit a homepage, 3 fill out a form. So if you can get 5 or 6 or 8 to fill out a form with the same amount of traffic, you're already doubling your organic leads.
Mhm.
Our company, we created a new product, which we have a ton of schools on. I haven't lost one because they love it so much. It's only
Ooh.
$500 a month. We launched it a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's called Web Conversion Pro. And what we do is we don't do SEO. All you do is pay $500 a month for this program, and we get more of your traffic to fill out forms. So we run Beauty Schools Directory, which is the #1 online directory of beauty schools in the nation. And if we didn't know how to get people to fill out our form, we wouldn't have a business for 20 years. So no one knows how to convert traffic like us. So we do that by going into your website, putting a better form on there, and constantly A/B testing the
Mhm.
colors of the button, what the
Mhm.
headline says, the photo on the page. So I would say the majority of people that are using that plan still have a marketing company that they do their PPC and SEO and
Yeah.
everything and social with. They just use this to increase their organic lead flow. Again, it's $500 a month. My all-star client right now is seeing between 12 and 13% conversion on his website. So for every 100 people, 12 are filling out a form. It's bananas. So that's one thing I would be doing. All right, let's keep
PPC
going.
is like living class start, right? You
Yes,
gotta get out of that vicious
it is.
cycle. When do you do that? Go back to what we're saying, the slow times,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And someone asked what a good conversion rate is. I think 12% is a good conversion rate. That's what I always shoot for. Sarah, what are you telling schools these days?
15 to 18.
Oh, wow, Sarah's tough.
Yeah. Because again, to your point, you said earlier, they know what they want.
Yeah,
before they
they do.
even request information. So I'm expecting, long gone are the days that people are like, I want to be a ballerina or a cosmetologist. I don't know. Those days are gone. They've already sniffed you out before they even
If
request.
you're getting quality leads, we definitely need higher. So yeah, that's good. I heard you talk about 20 enrollments. Are you referring to 20%? No. I'm talking about literally 20 enrollments. So no matter what your class start is, like every month, most schools have a class start every single month. Some are every 5 or 6 weeks. You should have a goal for those. And Sarah, how many schools don't have goals?
A
A
98%.
ton, a ton. As many as you can get. Or their goal is more than last year.
Right.
That's not a goal.
But we could talk about that all day.
Okay. What do you say? When do you suggest asking for referrals? I think
Um,
we might have struck a nerve when we said it during the tour is a bad time. So let's talk about when we ask
um,
throughout the journey of a student and then at graduation or like
a-
like your exit interview.
exactly. Exit
That's
interview.
when
If
we do
they've
it.
had a great experience, if they haven't, don't ask them for referrals. Or if they weren't a great student. But once they're enrolled and they have some time in the program, experience it. If you do what you say you're going to do as far as education and quality, they're going to come naturally,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
exactly.
go in, walk around, spend some time on the floor with your students, go get a facial or go let them blow out your hair and just chat with them.
I want more students in the school just like you. You
Yep.
show up and you're so
Yep.
positive. Do you have any other
Yeah.
friends that you think would be great here? Because I want more people like you. Ooh,
Just
now
like
I feel
you.
special. Now I feel special. That's what you do.
Right.
Or forget the referral, get them to do an online review because everyone's going to be reading those anyway. So, have a great email that goes out that's constantly getting feedback from your students. Let me see if there's anything else. Would you talk about texting versus calling leads? We believe in calling first immediately as soon as a lead
Yep.
comes in. If you
Then
can't get a hold
texting.
of them, text them.
Yep.
And people are more likely to text you back, 180% more likely to text you back if you call first. So that is,
And if they're texting you, don't ask them to call you. Like,
oh, when you time to jump on the phone. Oh, sorry that you missed my call. I've been trying to reach you. Can
right.
we jump on the phone? No.
I don't call anybody. I don't even call my mom. Like, I'm texting.
Am I missing out by not calling a prospective student back who already toured? The mindset is if they don't have the ambition to come back and enroll, maybe there's someone who will end up quitting. Ooh, we have
Are
lots of,
are you hitting your goals? Are you above goals? Are you on a wait list? If you are, then absolutely you name the game, you
you
call the
do
shots.
you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You
Are
call the
you this
shot.
exclusive country club that you have to get a member only invite into? If you are, then absolutely. But if you're struggling for enrollments, we all say like they should do the FAFSA on themselves or they should find their high school diploma on their own. They're adults. Well, we're not going to change that. So
Yeah.
let's help them and guide them. So I think you should be calling them.
Um, and Sarah, they're not a student yet. Why are we holding people to student standards while they're a lead?
Right.
I don't believe in holding people to student
Right.
standards
No.
until they're a student.
Right.
And so Sarah's enrolled some pretty crap leads that have turned into stellar students that are now educators.
Platform artists, like next
Yeah,
level.
exactly. You're in the business of changing lives. I wouldn't get into the prejudging before they're even a student. Once they're there and they are inspired, they will move mountains to make this work. So that's our advice on that. If they're texting, is it bad to ask if they'd like me to call or prefer to text? I think that's fine, Chelsea. I mean, if they're texting with you and you can have this conversation quicker, I think you just say, hey, is text still good or do you want to jump on the phone?
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Give them the option. Don't force them to, or don't just pick up and call them.
What we're talking about is more so people literally texting, hey, when do you have time to connect on the phone?
Not giving any answers via text, saying that
Right.
they have to do it like over the phone, being a gatekeeper.
Right. No more gatekeeping. Pretty girls
Mm-mm.
don't gatekeep. I coined that. I feel like I need to put on a shirt. I say it all the time. Pretty girls don't gatekeep. Sarah, this has been fun. We got through all the questions. We have 1 minute to spare. I have loved having you here. Sarah, if people want to work with you, how can they do it?
Yeah, I'm going to put my email in the chat. Reach out to me, find me on LinkedIn. I would love to help you get quality leads, help drive your organic presence, your SEO. Reach out to me. Or if you want
And
to
then,
just do a 20-minute chat on admissions and look
yeah.
over your contact strategy, stuff like that, happy to do it.
Yeah, Sarah, so you can also do some admissions training as well, right?
I can.
Awesome.
I love when I work with a school and we go in and they say their conversion is at like 3, 4%, and then we get them up to 12, 10%,
It's
15.
hard to take a school from like an A to an A plus, but give me a D. Give me
I
a
love an underdog.
failing.
Yes.
I love it. Give me a failing school and a crappy strip mall all day. Like
Let's
turn this
change
around.
your life.
I love it. This was so fun. I hope y'all
Thank
enjoyed
you for
it.
having me, Jen.
Thank you, Sarah, for being on, y'all. Next month, again, we are going to be, what were we chatting about next month? Oh, parents, enrolling parents. So join us for that. You'll get an email tomorrow morning in your inbox with a recording to this. So feel free to send it to all of your friends. Thank you all for joining us. Sarah, love ya. Good to
Love
see
you, girl.
you. Bye.